everybody. Welcome to the Pound for Pound show. My name is Philip. Joining me as always are Russ and Ben. How you gentlemen doing today?
Very good.
Doing good, Phil.
We're back for the millions and millions of pound for pound fans.
That's what we're here for. They say we don't want to disappoint the people, so I want to make sure that we break down the big fights from UFC 280 coming up. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Three major fights on this card. Obviously, the big one, the main event, Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev. Pretty close fight. Very interesting fight. Lots of moving parts here. Lots of differing opinions on this one. So I'm going to throw it over. I'm going to start with Russ, and then I'm going to go to Ben, only because I know kind of how Ben feels. I don't know how Russ feels. So selfishly, I'm going to start with Russ and then throw it over to Ben to get your thoughts on this fight.
It's a close fight for sure. I mean, both dudes on super long winning streaks. I was looking at it. Oliveira's on an 11-fight win streak. Makhachev's on a 10-fight win streak. They, both, been tearing it up for a long time. Makhachev's fought way less difficult dudes. So, that's something to factor in, but he's also taken much less punishment. Like Oliveira has been, nearly beaten multiple times now during this win streak. So you wonder how much that wear and tear weighs on him. I'm leaning Makhachev in this fight. I think it should be closer to a kind of like a pick 'em, even though like the line's Makhachev minus 175, Oliveira plus 150. It's, it should be probably a pick 'em, but you got to factor in the Dagestan chin strap beard. That's why I lean Makhachev on this. Like in a coin toss, I go with the Dagestan guy over the Brazil. That's how MMA has been for the last like 3 or 4 years.
I am shocked you didn't have the beard for the show. Like,
that would have been great.
We all should have getting it. I think if I would have
you
had
could
the
do it, I
Dagestan
can't really
beard,
do it. So not my gimmick.
I'm gonna need it for like intimidation at the poker table here soon. These players getting out of line.
No, Rush should have had the beard, and I should have had the blonde hair, the Oliveira hair.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, speaking of that, we'll transition right into you and the hair. So you kind of played your hand on how you think this fight's going to go.
You guys both know I'm rooting for Oliveira. He's a beast on the ground, the best submission artist of all time. I don't think it's arguable. He's got the most submission victories in UFC history.
Cold statement, but all right.
Isn't he? Is he not? Would you argue that?
He's up there. There's some guys who are in that conversation.
I think
for sure.
Anyway,
he has a crazy amount of subs.
Anyway, I think it's taken place on the ground for the most part, because if Islam tries to stand with him, he's going to get picked apart because Oliveira's striking has improved drastically over the past like 2-3 years. So I think it goes to the ground. It's tough to say where it goes from there, if Islam is able to control him and whatnot, or if Oliveira can sneak a submission on him. I think, both of them got huge win streaks, but Makhachev, like Russ said, is just his level of competition is nowhere near Oliveira. It's such a huge step up. His best win is against Dan Hooker. And you're talking about Dan Hooker and Charles Oliveira, two completely different animals. So it's a big test for him. I think I'm a bit biased, but I'm going to say Oliveira gets the win. I'm going to say 3rd round sub. That's my prediction. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Makhachev wrestles it out. He's such a good wrestler. He's the new Khabib. So, what do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I think you guys both made some valid points. I think, I agree. I think it's not if Makhachev can get it to the ground, it's when he gets it to the ground. What's going to happen? Because Oliveira is so slick on the ground. But Makhachev is relentless. We've thought that about a lot of guys when they fought like the Khabibs of the world, but like their ground and pound, their wrestling and their top game is just so oppressive. It doesn't give people a chance to do that. So I think that's the interesting thing is like what's going, like, I don't think it's a question that Islam's going to end up on top of Charles. What happens from there? Can Charles catch him, or is Islam just going to smash on him? Really tough to say. I think it's going to be, I think if Charles is going to catch him, he's going to catch him early. Because I think just like Islam, if he starts just wearing on him round after round, as the fight goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to get that. So Charles needs to get it done early, in my opinion. Or I think Islam is going to probably get like a later stoppage, a 3rd or 4th round TKO. I think it's just too much pressure, too much Dagestani beard. Can't be denied.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very hard to predict fight, isn't it? Very unpredictable.
It is.
It
That's
is,
why
but
I said like in like the coin toss, I just gotta go with the Dagestani dude. Like at that level, I don't recall seeing them lose at all. Like in the last few years, they just win every time. Every big fight they win every time.
Besides when he
It-
got starched back in 2016.
That's why I said the last 3 years. Like
Oh, yeah.
Dagestan has been like the dominator. You know,
Yeah.
right.
prior to that, they weren't. I mean, like if this was taking place like 5 to 10 years ago, I'd say that a similar thing about the Brazilian dude, because Brazilian dudes were amazing.
Oh,
They
yeah.
held like a lot of the belts and
That's true.
tore crap up. But now it seems like that region is just on fire.
It was Brazil's time. Now it's Russia's time.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
They've got some great fighters, so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I would to quickly touch on what Russ said. I was kind of surprised. ESPN currently has Islam listed as minus 190. Being an almost 2-1 favorite over the champ is crazy. So
Nuts.
But that just shows how much money's coming in and how much people believe in those dudes. So it should be a fun fight either way. So, but we can move on to the co-main event. Another interesting one. The bantamweight title is on. Everyone's least favorite champion and possibly least favorite fighter on the planet, Aljamain Sterling, fighting TJ Dillashaw. So I will turn it over. Ben, you can start this one off and then off to Russ.
Okay, so Sterling has looked impressive his last 7 fights. Okay, he's on a 7-fight win streak. He's beat Jan twice. I mean, one of them shouldn't really count. Yeah, twice. Yeah, and then he's beat Sandhagen, Rivera, Munoz, Stamen. He's beat some tough guys. And Sterling's a very talented guy on the ground. He's got a great top game. He can get subs. But Dillashaw is just like, we seen him come back against Sandhagen and he had a great performance. So we seen that he can still do it off the sauce. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of guys it affects big time.
Easy now.
No, a lot of guys it affects big time because you guys would agree, like the first couple fights off the sauce and then you see him go back up. There's like a decline and then I think that break helped him because he got off the sauce and then.
I'd like to state there's a reason you start to see him go back up. We don't have to cover what that is, but
yeah,
I'm saying easy, not because I'm denying that TJ was on the sauce. He was 100%, but I'm saying he's still on stuff. He's just getting around testing.
Yeah,
100%.
Okay,
I think Aljo's on stuff too. So
100%.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
His physique changed massively.
He did. He's
over like
shredded.
the last few years.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I jumped to conclusion. What am I thinking? He's off the sauce. He's not off the sauce. Well, I'm an idiot. But anyway, I think Dillashaw is better than him on the feet, and I think he's got good takedown defense. And I think I don't think this goes to the ground. And I think Dillashaw is going to pick him apart. And we're going to see a rough night for Sterling. I really do think that. And I'm going to take Dillashaw by finish, like the Oliveira. No, actually, I'm going to say 4th round finish for Dillashaw by stoppage. So TKO or KO. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think, Russ?
I agree with most of what you said. Like that's most of what I had going down too, except for I think Aljo could possibly get him down because he's going to be a little bit bigger and he's got great wrestling. Like that's where it's going to be determined. If he can get him down, he has a very solid chance of winning the fight. If he can't get him down, he has almost no chance. TJ,
long night for him.
His stand-up is one of the best in all of MMA.
Yeah.
He's unreal at striking. So he's going to tear him up if it stays on the feet. We'll know probably within 3 minutes how it's going to go because Aljo's going to shoot pretty quick. But yes, I think they're both on the sauce and it's just a matter of, getting to the fight. Who cares what happens after?
Yeah. Yeah. Who cares what no contests happen or whatever,
Hey, I want to see who wins that night.
Yeah, right.
that's what we're here to discuss, not the aftermath.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's going to be a mess. So,
but yeah, I'm taking TJ. I think he finishes him probably, probably 2nd or 3rd round. I think it's not going to be pretty for Aljo if he can't get the takedown.
I tend to agree with you guys, and I don't want to sound biased, but I think Aljo can, if he can do what he did in the Jan fight and become like a backpack and attach himself to TJ, he can hang in there. But like, I just think TJ Dillashaw is just a better fighter pretty much at everything. Like, I just think he's at a different level, and I think he's going to prove that. I think that, there's not, like I said, other than Aljo just making it a really boring, hang on TJ's back and try to control him fight. If he can do that, he could make it interesting, or not into, it'd be actually the opposite of interesting, it'd be boring as hell.
Oh hell
But
yeah.
he can keep himself in the fight. But like I said, in front of him, like in any other position, I don't think it ends well for him. Like I said, I think TJ beats him up. I think it's going to go long. I think TJ, it's probably going to be a decision, but I think TJ's going to, just pick him apart, just beat on him as the fight goes on. Just, probably 50-45. I think he wins every round. I think he's too good.
Yeah, it's a good call. We're all on the same page.
I'd love to see it. I definitely am rooting for that. That's
hell yes.
the most, the fight I'm most invested in on the card. I love
it would be cool. It's a night of dislikable fighters. And speaking of dislikable fighters, we'll go right into the next fight. We've got Sean O'Malley fighting Peter Yan, which is it's an interesting matchup. So I'll save my thoughts. I'll throw it over to you guys first. Ben, it's your turn to kick us off. Let us know how you think this fight's going to go. What do you see?
Okay. Yeah, this one should be fun. I think O'Malley's stepping up in competition big time here, and he's in for I think a long night. So Yan, he lost to Aljo, and then he had that DQ loss. But before that, he hadn't lost in 5 to 6 years. Yan is a scary dude with some scary striking. He's very technical, precise, surgical, almost like, you know what I mean? He's very, he's just crisp everywhere as far as striking. And I think he's going to punish O'Malley. And O'Malley, we've seen in the past, doesn't like punishment. I don't think, you call me crazy here, I don't think O'Malley's that tough. I think he's a very talented technical fighter, but his toughness, we've seen him go out on a stretcher, I think twice. So I think Jan's going to work those legs, baby. And we might see O'Malley go out on a stretcher again, honestly, but hopefully. But I'm going to go with Yan on this one. I think he gets the I'm going to say the finish. I'm going to say in the third. He'll get the finish via some sort of TKO or maybe flash knockout. We'll see. What do you think, Russ?
I think Sean has a shot at making it, somewhat boring if he uses like his reach, because he's so much bigger. He's 5'11" at 135. That's just a ridiculous sized person for that weight class. So if he chooses to like hang out on the outside, maybe he can like land his jab over and over on Yan. But I just don't see it going well. Jan's too relentless and mean, and I think he's just gonna walk into the fire and chew his legs up. Like be willing to take O'Malley shots in order to give his own. And it's a ridiculous step up in competition. Like I was looking at O'Malley's last like 5 fights. Besides Shido, it's nowhere near this level of dudes like that he's fought. It's crazy that I'm surprised UFC even made this fight. It's a wild fight, I guess.
Yeah.
Did O'Malley say he wanted this fight, or
there might have been like some money dispute and they're like, you're getting Yan. How about that?
I don't know. It's just a very surprising fight to make by UFC. They usually, take these dudes on baby steps up the way, but this is a huge jump. Yeah, I mean, and I think the line like tells you like how ridiculous of a fight it is. He's minus 300, Yan is, and we've seen how good O'Malley's been. He's a plus 250 underdog. That
Crazy.
Tells you all you need to know. But
unless, think about this, do you think possibly UFC is using Yan as a kind of like a making Sean O'Malley a star, and there's something going on in Jan's camp that we don't know about, maybe a nagging injury, and UFC has some inside info and they're like, let's get Yan while he's at beatable possibly. You think possibly, or is that a conspiracy theory?
I love a good conspiracy theory, but I just think it's just a wild fight to make. UFC does that from time to time. They feed somebody like it's going to be like a potential star to a monster and wreck them, and they're never the same. This could be that fight.
Yeah,
it does happen sometimes. It reminds me of when Yair was on that run and he was
Edgar
super hot moving up, and they were like, well, you should fight Frankie Edgar. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And
that's a great example. Yeah.
But look at Yair now. He's probably fighting for the title next.
Right. But, but he learned a lot from that fight. And like I said, I think that they see a guy like Sean O'Malley and they know he can be like a big star to a lot of, because he's already a big star. And like I said, if he can get a win against a former world champion, like if he beats Yan, he's getting a title shot 100%. You know,
Yeah.
that's happening.
He doesn't have to do
He's
much
getting the
because
winner. Yes,
popular.
but yeah, it's going to be a real tall order because, you know, like you said, Jan has the two losses to Sterling. One was razor close, and the other one he was about to finish him and got DQ'd. Only has one other loss his entire career. You know, he's
yeah. And prior to those fights, he did something really graphic and nasty to Aldo and Faber. Like those beatings were like tough to watch.
Right.
Career changing.
That's ultimately how I see this fight going down. And I see O'Malley using his range. And I think he will probably have more success in the beginning, maybe than we think we will, until Jan figures him out and manages to get inside. But Jan, he's such a savage. He hits so hard. It's just like, guys, it seems like every fight, like guys hang in there with him for a round, 2 rounds, 2.5 rounds. And just the accumulation of damage just adds up. And he just keeps pouring it on until he just breaks people, you know? And that's what I think he's just going to lay it on. And we're going to put Ben's theory to the test because, you know, if he starts wailing on O'Malley, we'll see if O'Malley folds up his tent or, you know, what happens.
He will,
but
he will.
No, I mean, yeah.
It seems likely. And again, I'm not a fan. If Jan just goes out there and smashes this guy, I would be perfectly happy with it. But I think it's going to be a little closer than people think. And for at least for a time, like I said, I think O'Malley with his range and everything is going to turn into a technical fight, take Jan a little bit of time to figure it out. Once he does, it's going to get ugly. And if you're not a Sean O'Malley fan, it's probably very enjoyable. Ben's going to be very pleased, I think, by the end of this fight.
Yeah, you just want to see Jan be super aggressive because, you know, O'Malley's going to move. He moves really well, and he's got a huge reach advantage. So you just want to see Jan be relentless.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to have to do. And we'll see how O'Malley's gas tank is, and we'll see, especially if he starts eating a bunch of those leg kicks, how long he can hold up. So we'll have to see. The only other, you know, thing, and I know I don't think it's ever happened before, but if Jan can get overextended, if O'Malley can catch him coming in, you know, like I said, and catch a quick one on him. So
O'Malley's got knockout power. We've seen it. I mean, he can.
This fight should be should be the most exciting fight on the card, probably, as far as action goes.
You make a good point. Yeah, it's possible.
I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree with that. Russ, why don't we hit some best bets and tell the people how they can make some money on Saturday?
Yes. All right. We got best bets here. All lines brought by DraftKings. We got, I'm going Sean Brady against Bilal. Sean Brady's minus 135. I think he's just a dangerous welterweight. I think he's like a up and coming contender, and he's going to win this fight, you know, whether it be like finish or decision. I think he gets the win. Minus 135 is the line on that. I'm taking TJ plus 150. Blows my mind that he's an underdog against Aljo. Like, I'll take TJ as an underdog against pretty much anybody on the planet at bantamweight.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking Makhachev minus 175. I just can't go against the beard. I don't think the line is great, but I think it's a win. I think it's a winner. I think all three are winners. Hey, you know, I didn't say that's who I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
That's who I'm taking, you know, like.
No, those are pretty good bets, though.
Well, guys, thanks for the picks. I think that about wraps anything up. Guys, anything else you want to add to the show before we close it up?
No.
Is here.
Yeah, Russ is the ping pong champ. Yeah, we have ping pong Tuesday tournaments, and he won it, so he's got to rub it in. But I'll have it next time. So it's all good.
Oh, there you go.
As long as Joe don't get
it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted to also say pretty random, but a cool movie you guys should see for Halloween. It's Halloween, so you got to see a cool Halloween movie. Barbarian. Russ, you can back me up here.
Yeah, very cool.
Very cool, original. Like, you don't see many like horror movies these days that like go for it. This movie goes for it, man. It's twisted. It's sick. It's in your face. It's awesome. It's original. Check it out. Also,
I imagine if Peter Griffin reviewed movies, that's how his movie review would go. Like, it just goes for it.
Yeah.
That's a compliment. Peter Griffin rules.
Hell yeah.
I agree. 100%.
Also, happy Halloween. Yeah, baby.
Oh, nice. Straight up shark party over there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Happy Halloween.
Cool. All right, gents. Well, everyone enjoy the fights on Saturday. Have a good one. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. See you guys. All right.